little under the weather this evening. So if I'm letting people in or I pause for a second, just don't mind me, okay? So normally she's with us, obviously. But hey, first things first, um, happy Mother's Day to all the great moms out there. There's nothing better than a mom. And I wish I still had mine. I lost her about 5 years ago. But hopefully if your wife is a mom, you spoiled the heck out of her. If you still got your mom, let her know how much you love her. And we thought about moving this to tomorrow because it was Mother's Day, and East Coast, West Coast, it's 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, but it's only 5 o'clock on the West Coast, and people could still be having dinner with folks. But we're loaded up with Zooms tomorrow night. We couldn't do it. We've had a lot of Zooms scheduled, and so this will be recorded. We didn't expect everyone on tonight, and I do really appreciate you being on tonight, but it'll be recorded, and if your teammates want to get caught up, it'll be posted later tonight. So hopefully you did have a chance to spoil a mother, but we love all you mothers, and happy Mother's Day again. I'm going to try and keep tonight, depending on questions, comments, or things you have at the end. I'm going to try and keep this to a half hour. There's two main things I want to talk about. And let me go to the slides. And I got a few slides that I want to use. So let me pull that up. All right. First thing is there's a couple dates I want you to remember. And I will give you a chance to chime in before I move this slide along, in case there's some big dates out there and it's just an oversight, that I didn't mention. But, for those of you that are in Florida, Brandon Cunningham is doing an all-day training. It's actually a Friday night social, all day Saturday, followed by a dinner Saturday night over in the Bradenton, west coast of Florida, the Bradenton area, that general vicinity. And if you were at Jekyll Island, you know how cool it was. And this is kind of a repeat of Jekyll Island, but it's in Florida this time. So I don't believe it's sold out. April and I are going to be there. Kenneth's going to be there. I know we're working on bringing other folks also there, but there's a fee for that. Obviously, dinner and lunch are being catered and stuff like that. But for anyone that's within a 3, 4, or 5 hour car ride, it's certainly worthwhile. You don't need a plane ticket. April and I are just making it one long day on Saturday. We're going to miss the social Friday, but we're just going to leave at 6 a.m. on Saturday, drive over and stay until whatever, 8, 9 at night, and then drive home. But Brandon knows how to do a good event, and they're generally well attended. So just keep that in mind for anyone in Florida. And then I'm going to talk a little more about this in a second, but May 20th, which is a week from tomorrow, all right, next Monday night, is our opportunity Zoom. And this is, look, you've heard me say this before, but this is when you need to dig in and, get your invitations right, get your heads right, and get people committed to joining you live on the Zoom. Okay, and we'll talk more about that in a second, but there's nothing more important in this business. It doesn't matter, the whole social media thing doesn't matter if you're posting or not. The only thing that matters is, are you inviting people to see what you got? And anytime you can do that, and it's live, and they can see themselves with you, I refer to it as, they could, like tonight, they could be part of the Hollywood Squares and see each other live. Your percentage of closing them, your percentage of warming them up, your percentage of, needing less touches to close them in the business, it goes way up, folks. Live is king. Okay. And that's why if you can get them like to an event like Brandon is doing, if you can get them live on, on Zoom for an opportunity, which, I said it's a week from Monday. And then April and I will be Dr. Regis hosting in Chicago. And, Dr. Goodman would be there, Dr. Castori would be there, and a lot of other doctors you may not know will also be there. And again, that's another live event. I say Chicago, it's Oak Park, it's near Oak Brook, it's outside of the city, but we get a very high ratio of closing when people attend. Very rare does a guest attend that meeting and not join. Very, very rare. I mean, it's not 100% because nothing's ever 100%, but it's high. Okay, if you have guests there. So before I go to the next slide, is there anyone that is hosting an event or attending a big event that you want to mention and give a date to the group before I go on to the next slide? Just unmute yourself and share what you got if you do. Is everybody good? You can bring it up again at the end too, if something comes to mind in the meantime. Okay, so let me go to the next slide. Okay, I'm going to take a look. This is the most important thing going on in the next week for our teams, everybody that's on here tonight. So I'm going to spend a little time training on this and talking about this, but on the left, this invite and the number is on it. You can block it out and make them call you to get the ID number, but I put it on here. So that's an invitation, okay, that you can send to people. Don't assume it's better than it was, folks, but don't always assume, especially somebody that might be a little bit older, okay, that they know how to do Zoom. Don't just assume that, okay? So that is the invite. Obviously, most people, under 40, Zoom is just a normal everyday way of life, but just keep that in mind. Now, what I always like to do, if I'm going back with a person back and forth and inviting them, I always send the picture here, okay? But I also text a live link where I call no thought required. Okay, and that's down here. See where my mouse is circling at the bottom of the blue? Okay, when you send a live link, they don't have to think about nothing. They just have to press and click. And we don't use a password. Okay, so they click, they're in. And make sure you always give them, a link, okay, that they can just click and be in. And again, this is also an invite, but what I would do, I would start with maybe a save the date for May 20th, because today's only the 12th, and maybe write save the date on top of this somewhere on the picture and just let them know it's coming. And then, a day or two later, send them the first details, then send the details again the day of. And I always send everybody the link again saying, looking forward to seeing you on Zoom in a few minutes, 15, 30 minutes before, okay, before the Zoom starts. Send it again. That way it's right at the top, right fresh on their text thread, okay, and it's right there for them to see. So the one thing, and again, I have another slide I want to talk to you about a little bit, is attitude and desire is everything in the invite. If you're passionate about it, if you're excited about it, and you have a desire to have guests on there, you will, and you'll have a lot of guests on there. If you think just posting an invite is going to get people to call you, it's not. If you think just texting them without going back and forth with them on Messenger or text or by phone, Okay, it's not. Okay, it just doesn't work that way. Some of this technology stuff, people are a little tired of, a little burnt out with, and you need to communicate with them. You need to get, go back and forth with them. There's still nothing better than the phone. I mean, there's nothing better than talking to somebody on the phone. So, that's always going to be number one, but you got to have a desire to have guests on that Zoom. And if it's just like, well, it's just another one, well, they do it every month. Well, some months they do it twice. You know, I can tell you this, I talk to everybody at corporate. We have more guests on our monthly Zoom than anyone in the country, and we close more from our Zoom than anyone in the country except Angie Harper. Okay, Angie Harper and her team of ladies out on the West Coast, they have more guests on and they close more. It's a bigger team, okay? But they do a phenomenal job. So you want to take advantage of this, okay? You got a lot of talent in this company, and we have a Zoom that an opportunity that rates that high. I mean, look at all the ones we did, the 90 and 90 days. Okay. And, there were 3, 4, 5, 6 guests on those. We've had 30 and 40 guests on ours. Okay. So this is yours, folks. Take ownership of this. This is your team Zoom. And there's no limit to how big it can get. There's no limit to, how many guests you can have on it. If we go over the amount that Zoom allows, we'll open a bigger account. We'll add to the account. You can always adjust your account. But, there's a couple things, if you're new to this, April and I have 32 years experience. And one thing about a live event and a live Zoom, like we're talking about now, if you are on a roll, if things are going good for you, if you're just enrolling people, it's coming easy, you're on a winning streak, okay? That meeting needs you. It needs you to bring that confidence, that excitement, just that, all of that confidence, excitement, and feel good excitement to the meeting, okay? If you're on a losing streak, if you haven't enrolled anybody, okay, in a few weeks or a few months or this year, whatever, then you need the meeting, because that can get you out of a funk, okay? So what does that mean? You got to always be on it, okay? If you're doing good, the meeting needs you. If you're not doing so good, you need the meeting. So anytime there's a meeting within a couple hours live, you should make every effort to be there. And Zoom, let's face it, there's not very many excuses to not be on that, because you get about a month's notice on it, and it's 8:30 at night. It's not, at 3 in the afternoon. So 8:30 East Coast, I understand, depending on the time zone you're in, that changes. But let's go at it, folks, okay? Let's make this the biggest one we ever had. So I want, with your permission, okay, I want to do a little real talk with you, okay? Now, we were on an executive Zoom with the company the other day, and, they always give us statistics with the company and how things are going with the board and quarterly, and, they go through a lot of different stuff, okay? But March and April were record-setting months for enrollments, okay, not only for our team, but for the company. So that means our team, all of you, are keeping up with the company or doing better. Okay, keeping up with or doing better. It means you're not falling behind. It means you're not letting the excitement of the new 15-minute challenge skincare, the excitement of the collagen, the excitement of Evolve compensation plan and all the money people are making, you're not letting it get away from you. And for those that have been around longer than, than some of us, I mean, Kenneth and I and April, we've been here for 6 years, but some of you, it's 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 years. Okay. If you missed the big boom that happened when the company was new with Protandim and then the anti-aging cream and stuff. Okay, I've heard, we've said it, and I've heard everyone else say it. Boy, I wish I was there at that time. Well, we're all there again. This is the second launch of LifeVantage. Okay, we're going through that next wave that takes a $230 million company to 400 or 500 million. That means it doubles up. Okay, so here's something that I want you to be real honest with. Okay, with yourself. That's why I said it's time for some real talk. It all starts with how you're doing personally. Okay, everything starts with you. So are you, and you don't need to put anything in the chat. I'm just asking you to be honest and real with yourself. Okay, are you doing your best with enrollments? Okay, are you on a roll like the company is? The company's on a roll, the team's on a roll. Are you on a roll? Does your team follows the lead? Okay, whoever's at the top of an individual team. Okay, but remember this, your team does what you do. And man, if you start running with it, they run with you. Because here's what happens. There's a constant evaluation going on. We're always evaluating. You're evaluating me, you're evaluating April, you're evaluating Kenny, we're evaluating, everybody's evaluating everybody, okay, all the time. But are you making this business enrolling? Are you making it look easy or are you making it look hard? Look at how many eyes are on you, folks. And then here's a lesson that I learned very early on in this business, okay? Did you know that you're always right? Always. You can't be wrong. If you think this business is easy, you're right. And if you think this business is hard, then you're right. You're always right. You can't be wrong, okay? If you think it's easy, it is. If you think it's hard, it is. So be careful what you let your mind do. Okay, be very careful with that, folks. We all have the good fortune of each other. We have access to each other. We do this every Sunday night. We communicate with each other all the time in between. We're fortunate, okay? There's a support group here that's very good with each other, okay? And there's cross lines here. It's good, okay? It's a good thing. But I feel responsible. April feels responsible. I know the other leaders on here. You want to make it look easy for your team, because if they see you doing it, then they're going to say, well, you know what? If Bobby can do this, anybody can do this. If April can do this, anybody can do this. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. Those guys didn't even go to college. Okay. Well, we didn't. Okay. We went into business early in life, but we didn't go to college. Okay. So be careful with what you allow your mind to think. Okay. Because you're always right. So you want to be right with the right thoughts. Okay. And let's face it, this business is very easy, but our minds challenge us all the time. If we just separate ourselves from the end results and just do the process, what's the process? Inviting. There's no more important skill in this business than inviting. Inviting to what? Events, Zooms, and live meetings. Okay, that's it. And if you can become a master at inviting, it doesn't matter who shows up or who doesn't. It doesn't matter who joins or who doesn't. If you master the skill of inviting, the law of averages, numbers, okay, are going to pan out. They have to pan out. It's just math. Okay. The Zooms, we do a good job on the Zooms. You do a good job with the Zooms. I've seen a lot of you do Zooms. I've seen Fred do them. I've seen Kenneth do them. You all do good jobs. So the information is going to be shared. It's going to be shared professionally. It's going to be shared in the right manner. Nobody makes ridiculous claims. Nobody gets slimy. Nobody gets scammy. You know, it's very honest, upfront, matter of fact information. Product side of it, hey, you know, they can read to their heart's content with studies and everything else if they want that information. Okay. I kind of like showing the results before and afters and keep it as simple as possible. And then if I have to text them the, you know, the studies or the link for that PubMed, so be it. Okay. But that's all up to you. That's your style. But you got to ask yourself when you're sitting there by yourself and you're giving some thought to doing your business, are you thinking how much fun and easy it is? Or are you thinking about how much you don't want to be rejected? Are you thinking about how bad it feels? Are you thinking about how hard it is? You got to be careful what you let happen between your ears. Okay, because some of it, I call it stinking thinking. Some of it may stay, and we don't want any of it to stay. Okay. So inviting people is easy. What's hard? Just sitting down and doing it. You know, getting methodical about it, caring enough that another person needs this, that needs this product, needs this business, caring enough that they need it, that you're going to give it your best shot to get them to see it. And getting out of the business, which we're all guilty of being in, of prejudging who we think would be good or would be bad. That we're all guilty. We've all done that at one time or another. Oh, I don't know about them. They seem to be on a roll. Life is good. And we don't have the right to skip sharing great products with people. And we don't have the right to not share an opportunity that very few people in the world have ever heard of. That is our job. We share information and they can accept it, reject it, or put it on hold for a while. That's their call. But we should never skip who we share the information with. And if you'll adopt these mindsets, if you'll adopt these working habits, if you'll take this at heart and go with it, there's no limit. I mean, I remember one time, and I don't know if she's on tonight. I remember the best number that I remember of invites on a launch Zoom, like we're doing an opportunity Zoom a week from Monday on the 20th. I think Zuma had 22 guests one time. Now we had another guy, and we're working with him again because there's more opportunity. We had a guy from Trinidad that came through our doctor that we have in DC, that he owns a radio and television station. He had, well, he overdid the 100 that we have. He had probably 60 or 70 guests on. Okay. We were still, and this is during COVID 3 or 4 years back, and we just didn't have things worked out for how we would get them the product because Trinidad's not open. And back then we had a lot of trouble with what was going on with Amazon. That's all been fixed, but so we weren't able to do that. But I'm telling you, there are people that have piled people on. I know April and I have had a number of different times, had more than 10 on the call. So, you know, how fast do you want to build your business? How much do you want to come in this month? How many tracks would you like to earn? You know, those are the questions, and that's where the mini goals come in. If you're looking to get 1 or 2 or 3 tracks this month, well, that's going to take, you know, 10 or 12, 14 enrollments. Well, then you're going to have people looking at what you got in order to get that number of enrollments. So, you know, those are some thoughts I wanted to share with you. I'd love to see us break that 100 mark one of these times. You know, we've been in the mid 70s a few times. I'd love to see us just get past that. But let me stop sharing here. Get everybody back on the screen. So how is everybody? Is that helpful information, folks? I mean, does that make sense to you? It's not, we just got to stop thinking it's hard and just start doing the do. And the do is invite and don't prejudge. That's the do. And it doesn't matter if you talk to people 6 months, a year, 2 years, or 3 years ago. Hit them up again. Okay. Do you know anyone's life that has changed in the last 6 to 12 months? How about a lot of people's lives have changed in the last 6 to 12 months? Yet because maybe they said no to us a year ago or 2 years ago, we've gotten them off the list. We erased them. Hey, check back in with them and see how things are going and let them know the company's growing. Let them know that we're debt free. Let them know about, the 15-minute challenge. Let them know about collagen. Show them some before and after pictures, and don't forget this. If you're new, don't skip the 3-way process. Man, bring that third party into the mix. It could be a 3-way chat. It could be a 3-way Zoom. It could be a 3-way call, but bring that third party in so they can validate you. I don't know anyone that's enrolled more people in the past year than Kenneth. Every single person he enrolls, he sets up, it's a 4-way text because it's me, April, him, and his new person. Every single person. And we've done a lot of 3-ways. And he's as good at closing anyone as anyone I've ever met. That's not what it's about. He don't need to do that. Okay. Why does he do it? The new person needs to see there's a system. They need to see there's additional help. They need to see there's expertise willing to help them. That's why you do it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna buy a McDonald's. Okay. And I know there's 9 million of them, but if I don't follow their system, if I say I want to make the burgers the way Burger King does, and I own a McDonald's, well, they'll just take the franchise from me. They will not let me ruin their program and their system. Okay. They won't let me do it. We need to stick with the system, even though you and I may get to the point where we don't always need that. The person we're getting involved in the business does need it. And not just need it because they're helpless. They need it because in their mind, they need to know there's a team surrounding them to help them. Okay. I don't know how many into sports or not, but it's a sport thing, man. You can't take, we're a team, and you can't take a team sport, okay, and run like an individual. You may have a good game and you may have a good period, a good quarter, good something. Long term, it won't work. Okay. You got to get in with the coach's system, so to speak. And that's how the business works, folks. It's really easy when you work the system. So does anyone have any other meetings that are coming up, or Zooms that are coming up that I didn't mention? Do you have anything live events mainly? I mean, we always talk amongst ourselves, but I tell you one thing, I was looking in the hub the other day, just a couple days ago, and there's a lot of new stuff in there. If you haven't been to hub.lifevantage.com, okay, they are finally getting very consistent with quickly upgrading and adding stuff to that when it comes out. Take a fresh look at what's in there. You'll be amazed at how many trainings and videos and things are in there. And of course, the big blue calendar's in there with all the meetings on it and stuff too. But, they were very slow. They must have got somebody new at corporate that is kind of taking on that responsibility. I try and I can't keep up with all the people that switch jobs up at corporate, so I don't pay a lot of attention to that. But somebody new is managing that wasn't doing it before, because it's getting updated very quickly. So take another fresh look at that too. And also your back office. I'm not saying it still don't have some things that would be helpful, but man, oh man, it has never been better than it is right now. I've been on the committee with that for a year, and the committee is still intact. We still have a live thread on WhatsApp with tweaking things on a daily basis. But that is a dramatic change in the back office, especially over the last 3 months or so. So take a fresh look at that too. But anyway, I'm at the half-hour mark. I want to open it up. Has anyone got anything to share? You're muted, so unmute yourself if you want to share anything.
No, I'll just add, great training today, Bob. I just love how you and April just keep coming back to the basics. And this was a great call, and on the connecting phone calls, the meetings, and it really is a simple business. And sometimes when you've been around for a while, you forget that. But just go back to the basics. And lastly, I want to just say to all the moms, just as Bob did at the start, we lost our mom 2 years. I lost my mom 2 years ago as well. And so just you gals that are entrepreneurs and moms, and if one of my missions is we can just help more women make a couple grand a month, we'll just make the world a better place. Communities will be better, women will be stronger, families will be stronger, and that's what we can do here at Life Vantage. So, but I'm a dad of daughters, and just all you ladies, hats off to you. So,
well said. April and I, we're a mother and father of sons, 3 boys, and it's so funny where everybody's playing pickleball now, including them. And they come over on Saturday, they sleep over because they live out of town, a different part of the state, have dinner, watch movies or whatever, and then get up Sunday at breakfast, and it's like pickleball time. It's like, and it's no mercy. Okay, the only mercy we have is if they bring their girlfriends. We don't beat up on the girlfriends. We just let them be there. But the rest of it is just, we had fun. But we love all moms. Yeah, and you're so right, Fred. If we could get more moms home and working from home and earning whatever it is they need to support their families and kids and grandkids, at our age now, it's grandkids too, and the world will be a better place everywhere. Absolutely. So anyone else got any dates, reminders, anything what we might have overlooked? Kenneth, what about you? What are you guys doing?
What we are doing? We are just plugging away, right?
Plugging in, right? Plugging in.
Yeah, I think it's just about keep on going. As I said a couple of weeks ago, count your no's. Meaning just go out and set today's goal is to get 10 no's. Right? Like, well, what? That's negative. No, it's actually not, because what's going to happen?
It's a win. If you set your goal to do it, it's a win.
you will get a yes, right? And I think sometimes I catch myself scrolling on the phone. I'm like, what good does that do? Nothing, right? You can't be scrolling. You got to be posting, or you got to have conversations, and it's all about conversations. The more conversations you have, the better chance you have of signing somebody up. And I think I've had some fortunes and some luck in signing a lot of people up here in the last year. And then of course it becomes easier and easier, and it's easier to let somebody go, right? If you haven't signed up a lot of people, well then every single one becomes more important, and you probably end up trying too hard. When you try too hard, you push too much, and then you scare them away, right? You have to be it's almost like, when we were all younger and we were trying to find a girl or a guy that we couldn't have, well, then we just wanted them more, right? Sometimes the fear of not getting what you really want is a great tool that we can use here. So taking it away, don't give it away freely. Don't push and say, oh my God, you got to do this, and keep on texting them every other hour and say, come on, did you make a decision yet? This is just going to scare them off and turn them off, and then you lost them forever, right? So we have something truly valuable. We have an incredible business that that people are lucky to hear about. So treat it as that. Don't just give it away freely. This is a gold mine, or it can be a gold mine if we do it right.
Appreciate that, Kenneth. And that's part of, that plugs right in with what we were talking about tonight. When you play with more numbers and you're juggling more balls, you got more going on, you change the percentage of importance on each one. And before you know it, okay, I'm not saying every person in the world's not important. Everybody's important, but they're only important in the business when they join your business. And, it's the more that you got in the works, the less important any one person is. And that's a really good position for your mindset, no one person's going to make or break your business. And when you have a lot more going on, no one person's, I used to say, is overly important. Okay, you still got to go through the process, but do me a favor, try this for a month or two and stop prejudging who will and who won't, and just share what you got with whoever is on your list, in your phone, messaging with you on Facebook. Don't size them up and guess. Share the information and put the ball in their court. And here's the thing that happens. If you skip them, you prejudge and you skip them, you're leaving them out there for another opportunity with another person. Okay. If you share what you have and the timing is not exactly right, hey, you broke the ice with them and you can continue to follow up for months or years with them. And maybe if someone else approaches them with something, they may say, you know what? Who was that? Kenneth and Cheryl and Fred. They said something about a really cool business. And all of a sudden you're back in their mind and they're reaching out to you. So that's why it's kind of like you got to mark your turf. I used to joke walking my dog, the female dog, she'd go to the bathroom once. It was a flood. The male dog needed to just pee on everything. And even after he was empty, he kept lifting his leg, nothing coming out. He was like marking his turf. In this business, when you share information with a person, you're marking your turf. Even if they don't join now, you let them know that you have a great opportunity if they're ever ready for one. And maybe someone else approaches them with something and you come back to mind. That's the value of not guessing who should or who shouldn't. Okay, that's the real value in it. But anyway, we're good. You got some meetings that are coming up, and obviously pay attention to company emails. They're always doing stuff live, and momentum calls and training and protocol. They do all kinds of stuff too. So, but you know how to reach us if you need us. Have a great evening. Moms, happy Mother's Day to all of you. We greatly appreciate you. I give anything to still have mine. But have a great night. I'll get this edited and posted within an hour or so. Good night. Bye-bye.